Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're on GT Sport and we're back with a track guide for the FIA Nations race at the Nürburgring GP track, driving the Zonda R. Now this car is one of my favourite cars to drive. I really enjoy it. It feels very aggressive. It feels like you really have to control this car. It's got a lot of grip. We're running the soft tyres for this track guide. This is the tyres that will be used during the race predominantly. I think it's very low tyre multiplier. You do have to use medium and softs. However, you're going to probably go as long as you physically can on the soft tyre and then just minimise the distance on the mediums, because it's such a low tyre wear rate. I think you can get away with running quite a long distance on the softs, and there's going to be an advantage. Even on worn softs, there's probably going to be a bit of an advantage over fresh mediums. So yeah, you're going to push on the mediums as long as possible. It's a tricky combination, I'm not going to lie. I think this is really enjoyable. I jumped on late last night, just did a quick go. I was very tired. Managed to get some sort of speed together for a track guide. It's not really my ultimate lap, but yeah, I was happy enough with the lap for giving you some basis as to where you can improve on your lap time and consistency with this car. It is a tricky car to drive. I've said it a few times already, but yeah, the power of this thing, it's got a lot of grip, but it will bite when you push too much. It's just a really enjoyable car to drive. It actually feels pretty good on physics for Gran Turismo, the way this car handles. I actually like the sounds of the car as well. I think they've done a really good job with this car, if I'm honest. I'm surprised we haven't driven this more on the game. It seems like a car that they took a lot of attention in creating on GT Sport. It feels absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we're going to go through a track guide. We're going to go through all the pointers to get as strong a lap as you physically can. I'm going to point out some things to do with the gears as well. I think this car has some it really does like third gear, so I'm going to try and show you where it's an advantage to try and get in that third gear as early as possible. So coming out the final corner, again, third gear as early as possible. You see me doing it there, accelerating all the way down the straight, and you can just hear the power on this car. It's such a nice car to drive. Down into turn one now, you're going to brake very early in these cars. You can see just before the 150 board on the left hand side there, we're on the brakes very early. Look at that, nice. And I've actually braked a tiny bit too late here. We've got Baptist lap P1 in Europe at the moment in front of us. As you can see, I gained quite a bit because I've braked a fraction late. We're going to aim to hit that apex. You can see already turning into the apex, down to first gear to try and get a bit of extra rotation on the car. Then early upshift into second, feeding that throttle in, but not 100% straight away, just to try and gradually get the power down. And then we're going to start braking very early for this corner. You can see on the brakes nice and early, because again, you're going so fast with this car with the acceleration and trying to hold the apex very nice. You can see how Baptist does it there, almost perfect with the two left tyres, just touching that white line, skimming the curb. Absolutely nailed that one in front of us there, Baptist. We did that reasonably well as well. Early upshift into third gear again. You can see how I got on third gear very early, and then touching the brakes very early. You can see giving myself the time to slow the car down to second gear, and now we've braked a little bit late. So what I'm going to do is downshift to first gear, get that bit of rotation into there, back up to second gear, and then on the throttle nice and early, and then again lifting off the throttle into this corner, cut some of the corner. If you can see how Baptist really takes advantage of the full track limits there. I didn't quite hook that up perfectly, but we did it okay. Early upshift into third gear and power out of the corner using the full width of the track, then into the next braking zone, which I use the little cones on the right hand side. You want to be braking just before the start of the cones on the right hand side there. They're your reference as you hit the braking and down to third gear, and you'll see the car starting to rotate. You want to get rotation into this corner. It really will help your times if you can rotate the car and then hold the car to the left hand side, because that rotation will help get the car back over to the left hand side, down into second gear, and again you're going to try and swing it into this right corner. This is a corner where you can make or break a lap really. You can lose a lot of time here. You'll see the ghost behind me takes a wider line, I take a tighter line. Baptist in front of us really clips that apex nicely. Early on the power again in third gear. You see how that upshift to third gear, and then on the power nicely. And you just look at the ghost behind us, how much time that has lost through a mistake on that corner. Now into the next braking zone, which I use the end of that grey bit of tarmac on the left hand side there is a braking reference where I brake just before that, down through the gears, and again you've got to try and get it into the apex. We run a little bit too aggressive into the corner. However, you can get away with that line here. You would rather take a more narrow angle. However, if you do square it off the way I'm doing here, it means you can get on the power a little bit earlier and get that third gear activated a little bit earlier. So what you'll see here is now on the power nice and early, and you'll see myself pulling away from the ghost behind me slightly. So yeah, there is multiple ways to do that corner, but it is better to take a slightly tighter line and brake a little bit earlier than what I did there. And you'll see here, lifting off the throttle, a tiny bit of braking input going in there, not a massive amount, just enough to rotate the front and get the weight onto the front of the car, so that when we go through this very fast corner, you're utilising all the track width and you can get on the power nice and early. You'll see, using as much of the track as possible. You really need to be aggressive through there. You can be overly aggressive and run wide very easily, though. That's just a warning. Then on the brakes, just as we're going underneath the bridge above us, the advertisement hoarding above us, using the full width of the track there as well into entry, down to second gear, get the left hand tyre onto that green bit of Astro if possible, and then early upshift again into third gear. You'll see me do it here where I get on the power, upshift to third gear very early, stop any wheel spin, and then we're going to rotate that car all the way to the left and then back chucking it into the right hand side for this flowing corner. When you nail this section, it feels really good. You'll see a little bit of braking input going in again just to get the weight on the front of the car, down to second gear, and then again we're going to go early up to third gear again. I think it really does like it. This car seems to gain a lot of traction, very strong in third gear on acceleration, and then we power our way all the way into the final chicane where you can really be aggressive. Now, I haven't really pushed the limits here. I was very tired last night. I just wanted to get a solid lap in, braking basically on the 150 board there on the right hand side, and you're going to really push the limits through here. You'll see that Baptist really aggressive on the chicane. I could have took a lot more on the first part of the chicane. I didn't really take as much as I could have done there. You see how I'm just getting the left hand side just on the curb. He really aggressively took the first part off, and then you're basically aiming for the bollard in the middle of the car, and you can get away with it. This car and this combination, it will not give you a track penalty if you get that like that. For some reason it lets you get away with it. Early upshift into third again, and then we're going to brake nice and early here. You normally use that little bit of tyre mark, but yeah, in this car you need to be braking way early than that because of the power in this thing. Down to second gear again, wait for it to rotate, feel the rotation on the power, into third gear, power out the corner, and head your way down the main straight over line. We go over line with a 1:48.9. It's about a second off the #1 time, but it's not far off the top 10. It's about 3-4 attempts off the top 10 times towards the back end of it. But yeah, I jumped on very late, quite happy with the lap. There's a lot more potential in there. I think I can get down to a mid to low 48.3 to 5. There's definitely potential for that. But yeah, an enjoyable car. Let's take a look at that lap from the chase camera. You can see where we're really utilising the full width of the track, trying to get it into the apex, doing that corner quite nicely. You see there, early upshifts into third. Again, braking very early here. You'll see how to rotate the car, I put it into first gear. You see the rotation happen when I change into first gear and then back up to second. And again, early third gear on the exit of that corner really helps stop the car running too far wide as well. And then here you'll see how we want to get that rotation into the corner, almost sliding into there, down into second gear again to rotate the car. Early upshift into third, it really does help the car using the full track width there again. And again, this corner, you'll see how I braked a fraction too late, probably losing a tenth or so as we go a little bit deep into the braking zone. Could have done my braking just a fraction earlier and probably holding a tighter line through there, and then a bit on the power. I would have got on the power nicely. And probably gained a tenth or so, I reckon, there. But yeah, through here there's potential to be a little bit more aggressive. It's just very easy to be overly aggressive there and run into the gravel on the left hand side, and then using that boarding as a brake in down to second gear. Again, you can see myself using that little bit of Astro, early upshift into third gear again. Like I say, third gear is so important. It really does help your traction with this car. And again, you'll see what I mean with the chicane, how the first part of the chicane didn't quite be aggressive enough. I think you'll see as we go now into the braking zone, could have took a lot more off this first part. You saw how Baptist really was aggressive. You see how myself not really being aggressive enough. I could have probably gained at least a tenth or maybe more on that chicane. And then into the final corner, ran a little bit wide here, but I did rotate the car and get on the power nice and early, so maybe a fraction of time loss there, but not too bad, and a fairly solid lap. I hope this track guide has helped you out. For the race, bear that in mind with the third gear. It really does help you out for not losing the rear. Probably will help you out with tyres as well. So I'm going to let you watch that lap at full speed without any commentary. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helps you out. Hope it improves your qualifying. Let me know in the comment section if you've enjoyed the video, if it's helped you out. Remember, hit that like button if you have enjoyed this. It helps the channel out. And also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. I will see you all very soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone.
Bye.